What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. Sorry I'm late. Okay. So has anyone heard about this whacked coin? So I did. All of a sudden, not because I heard about it from anything else. I actually went to go. Today we're doing some token distributions for paid, and I went to the wallet and I looked in the multi-sig wallet, and there is a token in there called Whacked that is worth right now like $250,000. And most of you know how I feel about meme coins, so I was not about to bet on that one going up, and so I just trying to sell it. But I figured out that I think what's happening, and if any of you guys out there who's listening can tell me what is this wax coin. I know it's had to do with John McAfee, but I tried to transfer out of our wallet and and it kept failing. I think it has something to do with the contract. So I think our tokens are locked. I don't even know why they would send them to us, but truth be told, I haven't had enough time to do any research about what this is. But I kind of felt like my Vitalik moment, when he got his 50% of the Shiba Inu coins dropped to him. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the AMA. It's been a lot going on. I took a trip to Bangkok over last week, went and met with a lot of very interesting people up there that can add a lot of value to the ecosystem that we are creating. There's so much happening within the overarching ecosystem of Master Ventures and Paid and House of DAO and then all these different amazing projects that we've got going on. And we're really, really excited too about some of the projects that are about to launch on Ignition and Apollo X with ultra low market caps. And this is I think gonna turn the market around tremendously. So I didn't have a ton of time to prepare for this tonight, so I'm just gonna kind of tell you what's been going on. And I also have one of the team on so far, Jed. And let's bring him on now. And if he has anything to add, he can just we'll just kind of do this one banter style. So everybody meet Jedediah. Jed, say hi to everybody.
What's up, everybody? Pleasure to be here.
Jed's been
talk some paid.
Yeah, Jed's been with us for a long time. One of the core founding members and instrumental to everything that we're doing. And every week I just want to get different people from the team on so you guys can ask specific questions. Plus, like I said before, I'm not intimately involved with all aspects of everything that's going on. And so each team member have much more knowledge on different areas about, within the organization. So maybe Jed, you can just kind of tell people a little intro and kind of the stuff that you've been working on and what you're about to, what you will be working on.
Yeah, totally. So for Master Ventures, I lead everything really strategy. And that ties into pretty much every department across the board. And it's all the high level important stuff and where critical thinking should be like really thought through thoroughly. That's kind of the stuff that I handle. So as of recent, I don't know how much you want me to say here, Kyle, but we have a lot of exciting projects, as Kyle mentioned, with ultra low market caps coming through the pipeline. And there's a few of them that, we've looked at a lot of projects this year, hundreds, I would say. And there's been a few that have kind of like stood out, and there's a couple of them that are coming up that we're really, really excited about. And going back to what Kyle said with these ultra low market caps, we feel this can kind of be the catalyst to potentially create another bull market on the alts. Is a lot of people are watching the IDO space, Launchpad space, whatever you want to call it, and seeing how it's affected by this bear market and how these new projects can perform. And if we can create some excitement with paid ignition around these newly introduced projects that is like really, really exciting type of success, that's just gonna, it's gonna bring a ton of capital, first off, back into the industry. It's gonna create a ton of positivity. And I think it's gonna create a lot of optimism that's gonna get that momentum that I think is all we need. It seems like every time we start to get a little bit of a breather, we get some FUD from China or somewhere like this, and we just get beaten back down. We get back up, and we work price back up, and then we get beat down again. And if we can get one of those things to just kind of push the snowball, and kind of this next altcoin run, then it's exciting for everybody, I think. So working on these projects, these really exciting low cap projects.
Yeah, someone in here said that people are scared for microcaps now. Why? It'd be great if you guys could actually call in and talk. But I'd like to know. We think that we've. It's not just. So to be clear, there are projects that are creating microcaps without really changing the fundamental aspect of the way that everything is done from the entire fundraising process, just to get a really low market cap on the launch. And then there's projects that we will be rolling out, ones that we're working on from our incubation departments that have an entirely different, model to the way that we're raising the capital, and that has a lot to do with saying bye-bye to VCs, and most of the retail market, we all know that, VCs, investors, they don't add a tremendous amount of value to projects, except for Master Ventures, of course. And they end up dumping, except for Master Ventures, of course. So really, we don't like to see them on cap tables because every time that you have a monthly unlock or whatever, you see this massive, huge sell-off, and that's really not good for price performance. And this is, we're talking about like a year of having this sell pressure. So the most important thing to creating this ultra low market cap is really to sell less tokens at a private pre-sale discount, and really just have less tokens to sell into the market for a product that can't absorb that kind of sell pressure. Hey, go ahead, Jen.
Yeah. So there's a way to introduce a project with an ultra low market cap. It's kind of like a mirage, I call it, right? It's just an ultra low market cap to be an ultra low market cap at launch. But like what Kyle is saying is we're redefining the sustainability of these models to first off say we are VC free and proud to be VC free. And then secondly, I almost call it like it's suffocation to these projects. When they perform really well, sometimes that can be like their worst enemy, because now what's being released into the market, the value has gone up so much that this pressure is suffocating price. And it's just not sustainable. Like maybe a project can take it for a month or two, but eventually it just wears them down. And so what we need to do is sell less, and then also make sure that what's being distributed into the market, the vesting schedules essentially are spread out further, because then it's a smaller percentage coming in month over month. So if we're thinking, we're beginning with the end in mind here and saying, okay, what if these things just explode? How much value would be released in all these various scenarios? And we're making sure that we're not putting the projects in a position to where they would be suffocated.
Exactly. And yep, and Decubate here, this one, is exactly, when I told Elliot about this model, he was like, oh, hell yeah. Because it makes so much sense. It just makes so much sense what we're doing. This is literally the way, and it really, this is the only thing that would work in a bear market, but this would also do extraordinarily well in a bull market. So like, this is why not linear? Like Farzad, like linear unlocks also they also can, it doesn't really matter if it's linear or monthly. It just matters how much profits those private sale investors can sell off. So if you sold $3 million of tokens at a 50% discount to the public sale price, and then you do a 10x. These guys have 20x profits on the $3 million. So there's so much sell pressure, daily or monthly, it doesn't matter. It's just constantly holding the price down.
We are moving though to linear unlocks, at least I think on the next couple, right, Kyle? Like we decided that they'll be based on redemption and things like this. Like, people will spread it out somewhat, which, the bigger picture of how much value is being released, as Kyle's saying, that's what matters, because not everybody's necessarily going to sell on the same day anyway. So there's this natural distribution of it, blah, 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 blah. We do feel linear can help that. So we will be trying that in the recent strategy, that incoming strategy.
And so what does this all mean for you guys who are watching this? I see a lot of the same familiar names every single week in here. And, what does this mean? Basically, I would expect, what we're expecting is that, Ignition will be getting a lot more attention right now, because we'll be constantly putting out projects that are doing, 30 to 200 X's, even in this market condition. Because if the initial market cap is $100,000 and it goes to 10 million, boom, there's your 100X. Yep. And we think that projects that we are launching are quality ones, with our network of influence, and that should be achievable. So, once Apollo X and Ignition,
which is really interesting, right, Kyle? Is it achievable now? But the key to anything, any launch pad, is figuring out a sustainable model in a bear market, because everybody wants to launch when it's bull. It's exciting, right? Everybody wants to launch when it's bear. Everyone hides, it becomes ghost town. But if you can still do these 100Xs, we feel it's a game changer, and it'll set us apart.
Yes. Okay, so let's see. I wonder, you think this is the real Carl, or you think it's, what's up, Carl? If you tuning in from Dubai, how's it going, brother? So let's see. So I'll let these questions stack in for a little while, and Jed, if you want to just read them, and if there's anything that you want to answer, go ahead. But I'll fill in. In the meantime, I'll just give you some other updates right now. So we are very excited to actually open up and start House of DAO on July 1st. That's a week away. Something that I've been dreaming about for a long time. We had this proof of concept back in 2018, and that was a lot of lessons learned. And this time it's a much more calculated and proper approach, and we're super excited about it. And you guys can come out and visit us. So if you really want to be around a bunch of crypto entrepreneurs, the paid master ventures and our incubatees, basically you want to be surrounded in a tropical island paradise with lots of fun things to do, good spots to work from, and you want to leverage the wisdom of the crowd, right? Leverage. That's, I think, one of the coolest things about House of DAO is that at lunch you can come down, sit down next to myself or Jed, and just ask us about anything you want, and I mean, it's really difficult to get our attention. If you try to message us on Telegram or something, it's probably not going to happen. But hey, if you're at House of DAO and we're grabbing a coffee at the same time, or you just want to ask me a question or whatever, having a beer, hanging out, talking about whatever, like, this is direct access to some of the brightest minds in the space, and it's an absolutely mind-blowing location as well. So a little bit of that. So when can you guys move in? So I mean, soon. So Phuket, as you may or may not have known, Thailand has closed its borders for mostly the entire COVID process, and so actually, where House of DAO will be on Phuket, this is the first sandbox environment. So if you have a vaccination, you can come into Phuket without a quarantine and come directly to House of Dao, and you're there. That's it. You're there, and so it should be quite easy. There's a lot of international flights opening up. On our House of Dao website, we will be adding some specific information to make that process easier. Some FAQs, how to do it. It's not that difficult. You just have to get some approval from the embassy before, whatever. But they really want to encourage. Visitors come in, and so they're going to make it quite easy to do it.
And somewhere to kind of transition with that, because understandably so, this is, I think, kind of paid centric, and paid holders are, how is this applicable to us? And House of Dao will be in a lot of ways, but I can talk about like the incubation and stuff associated with it, Kyle, like some of the
Yeah. I mean, this is so these little AMAs. This is kind of like I like to consider this part of the extended family. It's a small group of committed people in here every single week, and I like to leak things to them before we make official announcements or anything, because I just love the loyalty and I really appreciate it. So feel free to say anything you want in this group.
Cool. This will be fun. So one of the things that is exciting for House of Dao is, and particularly Ignition, is as we do with Fuel and Master Ventures, we look to incubate projects and consult and advise them. And that's what we do with a lot of the Ignition type projects. But what House of Dao gives us the opportunity to do is to really, our goal will be to run contests to find the best ideas and the best teams out there that are trying to bring things to market. And the winner of these contests, as we identify who is kind of the best of the best out there, we'll fly them, all expenses paid, out to House of Dao. They'll get to live in paradise with us, Thailand, which is amazing. It's so beautiful here, as well as be surrounded by us every single day. And the opportunity for entrepreneurs to, be surrounded and just kind of pushed into that wealth of experience. You're talking maybe the most experienced place of people in the entire industry, because it won't just be the Master Ventures team, which is quite impressive on its own. It might be, definitely is one of, it might be the most experienced. But then you also have all these other teams coming in and all these other influencers. There's no community out there that will be anything close to the House of Dao. So for these diehards, for these industry leaders, this is where we expect them to gather a lot of the time. So you bring all of this together in one place, and you give entrepreneurs the chance to be immersed in it. It's almost like a business boot camp where they get to go through blockchain, just doctor it in a matter of like months, rather than what would normally take them years and potentially failure after failure after failure. The opportunity is invaluable. So that's what it brings to the entrepreneurs, and what it brings to you, and what it brings to Ignition is, the best ideas, the best teams, kind of this pipeline, and it creates a funnel of incredible opportunities for all of you. And that's one of the things I'm most excited about. I know, Kyle, it's been one of your dreams forever. And we've designed this specifically in a way that it translates all the way down to each and every one of you and brings you incredible opportunities that just maybe wouldn't be available otherwise.
Yes. So I just want to show you guys real quick, just an aerial shot of so this is it. This is just this aerial shot here. This is just literally maybe 10% of the entire place. There's it's literally a village. There's 4 restaurants, something like 400 villas, 700 beds. You got this pier right here that you can park the boat at. Walk up. So Phuket is basically Phuket is an island. It's a big island that almost it's big and it has everything that you would ever want. When compared to where we used to live in Copenhagen, it had if you wanted anything really, you had to order on Lazada because there's just not a lot of selection of things. If you want a computer, you're not going to go to buy one and Copenhagen. But in Phuket, there's everything here from like nightlife and malls and movie theaters and for world-class doctors and dentists and blah, blah, blah. And it's a beautiful island. The one setback of it, in non-COVID times is that there's a lot of traffic, and you can get around that. That's usually not nearly as bad if you drive around a motorcycle or a bike. But what's really, really, really great about this location that we're going to is that it's only a 5-minute boat ride from mainland Phuket. And then you take this boat out and you're basically on a private island. And so you have that like total peace and serenity of being alone well, not alone. You have this huge village of crypto people. And it's quite self-sustaining there as well. But if you want to go out and of course at House of DAO, we will have evening entertainment. People will gather around the bar, and it'll be a lot of fun. You won't feel like you need to go out too much. But on the times that you do feel like it, it's a 5-minute boat ride, and we have boats. And you just hop on the boat, boom, next thing you know, you're plugged in right to the center of Phuket. So location is ideal, and the whole thing is quite exciting. I just wanted to, I think it's huge news. And of course, paid, will be an accepted currency at House of DAO. And then we will still work on the model in the future on how it can be more and more integrated into the House of DAO ecosystem.
So we're gonna, and part of those strategies will be how it could be more integrated. Is someone I think mentioned on here House of DAO NFTs or something like this. You have paid NFTs at tickets to House of DAO. Things of this nature. Exactly right. So there's a lot of ways to incorporate staking or to do auctions that they will burn paid tokens to the highest bidder that gets this NFT that allows for a 1-week stay every year at House of DAO. Just the ideas and the opportunities are endless. And, we're going to analyze both, total value locked staking type models and burning type models where we can just decrease the total supply more and more over time. And it's really a nice platform to explore different things with the paid token and just continually add value back to the ecosystem.
And like I said too, so I went, I spent the last, and this is why you guys haven't seen as many videos on my channel as usual. I spent the last almost week in Bangkok meeting some really influential people, and one of the things that I'm working on. I can't say that I'm almost there, but I'm meeting the right people to make it happen. Is I really want to try to convince Thailand to create a special economic zone in Phuket for crypto entrepreneurs. So, right now, a lot of people that live in places like Europe, not Portugal, but most of Europe and the States and Canada, things like that, there's crazy high taxation on your crypto assets, anywhere between, 20 to 42% or something like that. So people who are making money in crypto, and trust me, any of you guys watching this, if you get into it long enough, you will. You just got to give it some time. They are fleeting and whole. Yeah.
The game of selling low and buying high. This is just a trap.
Yeah.
We see so many people get caught.
This is to you, Dalton. Be careful on trading, buddy. It's a dangerous game, and most people can't do it. But if you want to dedicate your life to it, you'll probably get pretty good. But the problem, but what I'd like to do, so I think this is, Thailand is in desperate need of bringing revenue into the country, and I think what we're doing is really going to help. But how do we, further incentivize people to really call it home? Well, you give them a massive tax break on their crypto. So if you're an entrepreneur in crypto, you could just come out here, register yourself under this special program. You get yourself a good work visa that you don't have to bother too much. Maybe it's a 2 or 3 or 4 year visa, and then you just do your reporting to You just do your reporting to the government of Thailand for taxes, that tax IRS, and maybe you pay somewhere between 1 to like 3% of your tax in crypto. And I think that they would go for that. I met a really awesome guy. He is like the highest high of the police of Thailand when I was in Bangkok. He's the up, like working with the king police, and he loves Paul. If you're watching this, what's up, brother? He was advisor to the king, so he actually like gave advice to the king himself, and he loves crypto, loves what we're doing. He's got his own projects he's working on, and he will definitely come and hang out with us at House of DAO. So, yeah, I know that we spent a lot of time on this, but it's literally something that I'm incredibly passionate about, and we're all super excited about it. I think this is the future here.
Yeah, and so something that just keeps coming up over and over and over again is China, and the China Launchpad, and yeah, this is the extended inner circle. Let's address it, I think, because it just over and over and over again. So China, as you guys can imagine, is a dynamic situation. Like, who knows what the hell China's going to do? No, it is what they're telling us. We know what they're telling us, which is crazy and unpredictable. And then what they're actually doing is, probably more crazy and more unpredictable. We just don't know what's happening there. And so to have a strategy and know how to approach and all this stuff is really difficult. It's really delicate situation. So what we've done is we spent a lot of time speaking to people that are really familiar with the Chinese market, really, really, really familiar with the Chinese market. And this is important for any entrepreneur, is if know what you're good at and know what you don't know. It's so important to know what you don't know. And we understand that China is not clear to us. So what do? You find the smartest and the best people that it is clear to, and you surround yourself with them, and you pick their brain and you work with them. So that's what we've done in China. And we found some incredible partners that understand the market, understand all these dynamics very well. Nothing has really changed for us. There is going to be a little bit of a timing component to it of what is the best time to do it. I think the difference in this timing is probably weeks, not months, definitely not years. So does it affect us? Of course, we're going to think this through as thoroughly as we can. Does it really change anything in even not even midterm, the extended short term? No, it doesn't change anything at all. And so this is super important for the paid community is, we understand, especially with Ignition. So there's two things. We can talk about all the excitement with paid, and maybe we dedicate some space to this in one of the AMAs to the future of the paid app, which is so game changing and revolutionary. It's the most exciting thing about what we do. But then you also have Ignition. And then with Ignition, one of the things that happens with us is because of our reputation and how much value and stuff we can add, we get overloaded with requests of projects that want to work with us and want to launch through us. And so what happens is you can only satisfy so many people, right? So we have all this opportunity that's coming across the table that we have to make sure we're extremely focused on the opportunities that make the most sense and create the most value with paid, but we also realize that there's this excess that isn't being catered to. And that's one of the beautiful things about what the Apollo X team is doing is they identified that, look, okay, Ignition is looking for some credibility, and they have this certain criteria where they're looking for top tier, best of the best type stuff. But there's also this innovative, off the wall, Kusama change the world type projects that are aligned with Kyle and the team's vision and ethos here at Master Ventures and at Paid across the board. And so we've kind of figured out a way to target that market. And then you'll have China and the Launchpad. There's a lot of other markets out there floating around, and we're going to continually figure out ways to approach these markets and to get more and more of the market share. Like, we do feel that each of the platforms needs to have more of like a sniper approach, where they're looking specifically at a demographic and targeting and catering to them rather than like a buckshot approach. And so I think why this is relevant to the questions is you're going to see more and more of these Apollo X, these Chinese Launchpad, these very targeted strategic initiatives going to play, where we understand there's value that we haven't captured yet. And the exciting thing for all of you is, as we look around, there's so much value that we're not capturing right now. Like, I mean, it doesn't mean that we're doing an incredible job at capturing value, but there's an excessive amount of value that's available to us, and that's what gets us excited every day. So we're going to figure out more and more ways of bringing that into the ecosystem, and that's like the Chinese Launchpad, Apollo X, and you see more and more of this stuff come to play.
And we got another one of our team, Mark, sitting back waiting to come on too, and we'll introduce him in a second, and I'll let him tell you guys a little bit about his experience in China as well. But I want to address something in here, and I don't know if it's a troll or not, but I do know that when we had the hack, and people were coming at us like trying to dig up any dirt that they could, and just there's a lot of people that will try to kick you when you're down, and will try to dig up anything that could damage you guys just to further like rub your face in the dirt when you've just been beaten up. And so Lanky009, like I've seen you ask a couple questions already, and another one was did I go to jail? And yeah, I did go when I was like, I think I was 18 years old or something. When I was like 18 years old, I was with some friends, invited with some friends at their house in Michigan, and there's a bunch of us kids hanging out in a sleepy little harbor town, partying. And it's a quiet town. And so we were out in front of an apartment building, like drinking alcohol or something. And then one of the girls goes, yeah, we have so the manager from the apartment building came out and said, you guys can't be here, you're too loud. So one of the girls goes, oh, my dad has a boat over here, let's go over there. So we were just getting hammered. And last thing I remember was just taking one of these really cheap bottles of vodka, the one that costs like $5 for a gallon. And I just remember just chugging it. Literally last thing I remember, woke up in jail. And I woke up in jail, worst hangover I've ever had. Just eyes pounding, and I was so confused because I had no idea what happened. And so basically, yeah, so I woke up in jail. I had no idea what happened. And then I was released on bail later that day, and then got to piece some puzzle pieces together, even though I still have no idea what happened. Apparently, like when the police found me, I was on a boat that had been crashed into a dock or something, and I was passed out on it. So my gut feeling is I had another friend with me that has been known to be more mischievous, like when getting drunk, doing crazy things like starting fights, and it's definitely something he would have done. Maybe he wasn't as blasted as I was, and if he crashed the boat, then he was smart enough to run and jump and run away, and I was left, sitting there. So yeah, but to make this I was a guest in these guys' home to visit them, and of course they have to come pick me up out of jail. I felt like just as embarrassed as one could possibly be, and I had to deal with it. I had a professional. I was starting my professional career at the time. I just was fresh into commercial real estate, and I wasn't allowed to leave Michigan. I had to stay there and deal with the issue. There was some damage to the boat and some damage to the dock, and it's a really small town, and people and they understood, man. Kids are going to be kids, and they're going to make stupid mistakes. So you can be sure that I've never pounded a bottle of alcohol ever since that day. And this is the thing that it's like, we all make stupid mistakes, right? And your kids are gonna make mistakes, and my kids are gonna make mistakes, and it's not a big deal. It's part of life. It's how we grow up. So I just wanted to,
right? Like that's the thing. Hopefully we learn fast. That's I think.
And when it was really like there was a people like circulating that like if you just look it up there, you can find my mugshot. Just looked, face is swollen, and I'm smiling because I thought it was a joke, because they told me I was trespassing on a boat that I wasn't supposed to be on, but in my mind, the last thing I remember was being invited on this boat. I was like, no, like, this must be a mistake. Trust me, we were a part. I was invited, but so so when I think my only guess, you could have asked this question because you had seen this thing circulating around when a lot of FUD was trying to be created from what we did, but now that now that we've moved on, in this situation with the boat, I paid all the damages, made things right, got it all fixed. Happy to do that. I felt completely embarrassed and apologized tremendously because I acted like an idiot and made things right. And I just always in my life, have made things right. So when we had the hack, that was our mistake. We made it right. Nobody had suffered any damages from that. And that's what I like to do. We're all going to make mistakes. It's how you deal with those mistakes that define who you as a character.
100%.
That's it. Yeah.
And learn from this shit. Like, we're all going to mess up for sure. We're all going to mess up, and just reflect and ask yourself, do you want to do it again? Was the pain something you want to experience again? Was it painful? And do you want to go through it again? If you do, then keep doing it. But you're going to start to recognize, that wasn't fun, and I don't want to do that again anymore. Like Kyle said, he's never pounded a bottle of vodka or any alcohol like that again. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way. You got to pound a bottle of hard alcohol to realize it's a terrible idea. You should never, ever, ever do that. Once you do it, you realize how bad of an idea it is, and you never do it again. So learn my lesson, move on. Hopefully you learn fast. That's what I was saying to Kyle earlier is don't take 5 times of this happening to you for you to say, okay, this isn't the best idea for me to get.
And what scared the shit out of me the most was that like I had to be held in a like the drunk tank in the holding cell. It was Friday, and I was waiting for bail, right? And I got my one call. I called my mom. I'm like, and I was in a holding cell with some scary motherfuckers, like scary dudes, and like there was this one guy sitting next to me trying to be friendly, and he asked this one guy across from me, this big black jacked guy, he's like, hey man, what you in here for? He's like, yo man, mind your fucking business. He's like, I was like, ooh, I'm just gonna sit down here and just not do anything. Like, and so I like be on the phone like, mom, you got to get me out of here. If I don't get out of here by 6 p.m., I got to spend the weekend in here. And I was afraid to death I spend the whole weekend in there. I was like, this is not the life for me. Like, I do not belong in jail. And that was it. My mom bailed me out, and she said, Kyle, I bail you out, but never again. Never again. I'm not going to bail you out ever again. So thank you, Mom, if you're listening. Appreciate it. And I never, nothing like that ever happened again.
Everyone deserves that one get out of jail free card, right? Which is like
exactly.
Which is just like, do it once, shame on you. Do it twice, shame on me, kind of thing. Like, I can't bail you out twice, or because then I become like an enabler, right? But everyone's allowed mistakes. So props, Mom and Chasse.
All right, let's so that's my story. So now if you see anyone talking about it in the crypto sphere, you can let them know what happened. Let's add Marky Mark to the stream. Welcome, Mark.
Hey guys, how you doing? Sorry I was late. I misinterpreted the time it was starting, and I popped out of massage and saw your message. Very sorry. I ran home. Here I am. Hey guys, nice to see you guys. Much love, Jed. Much love, Kyle.
Love to moms. Big worm.
Love to moms. Love to moms. Tough love from Mama Chase. Mama Chasse. Nice. I never even knew that story. I saw that picture a while back. I never said anything, and then I saw it. I was like, oh, okay, this is how it happened. But yeah, you're allowed one free pass, man. You're allowed one free pass.
I was 18, man. I was just drinking alcohol. Fuck. Do you know how many people you see pass out on club floors? But we all know, everyone's been there, you know.
And if you
anyway,
there, just go do it because everybody does.
don't do it.
Don't do it. Just do it. But yeah, it's like the road has to fail and fall on your face. It's just.
Okay, so Mark, Mark, I guess maybe you just give a brief introduction about yourself and kind of what you're working on right now at Paid.
Sure. So my name is Mark. I'm managing business development for Paid Network right now. And recently I've been focusing on ecosystem development. As you know, in crypto, there are a lot of partnerships and they receive a lot of attention, but we have to ask ourselves, I think, what do these partnerships really mean for these different companies? Are these just partnerships for marketing, or are people actually following through? So, what we've done in the last several months is we've made a lot of great connections with a lot of fantastic projects. And now it's time to go back and go through all these projects that we made partnerships with and start following through on them. So what I've been doing is working with one of our lead engineers to accumulate different projects for tech integration. So I don't know if you've heard of Tree, but they're the decentralized identity play. We're going to use that and integrate that into our DApp. We're also probably going to work with Polkadot and Bridge Mutual, of course. And so we're starting to push forward these partnerships and really get the tech integrations going. That's what I've been working on lately. A brief introduction about myself. I did spend 6 or 7 years in China before this. I was kind of a victim of lockdown and I got stuck in Thailand. Everything got shut down in China. So, A plus B equals C. And here I am working for Paid for about a year now. I've been in crypto since 2017 as an investor, but never really worked full-time in crypto until recently. And I feel like I really hit the jackpot here with Kyle and Jed and all the team. I mean, these are just some of the most amazing human beings I've ever met, let alone being able to work with you guys. Super blessed to be here. So thanks for tolerating my tardiness. Appreciate it. Didn't mean to. Thought it was starting in 15 minutes. I was going to finish my dinner and hop on. So sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, if I can just dovetail real fast on some of what Mark said, is he's handling some really critical things. I work with Mark on a daily basis with some of the things that he's doing. And so the Paid Chain ecosystem, I think, is super exciting, right? Kyle, this is something that the three of us had a call on recently, and we're going to have an increased focus, and we have some strategies and plans in place to really develop and to grow this out. But I think, Mark, one of the most exciting things that you're working on right now is really this Paid Chain ecosystem. And that's where everyone needs to understand is, Ignition is really exciting right now, and Launchpad and new projects and how much money did I make on this listing. And it's all really fun, but there is a bigger picture here, right? And I hope that, the Paid community, that you guys are a part of our team, which is our team is to change the world, and that isn't just with launch pads and IDOs, and that's going to come with Paid, really, and with a lot of the other things that we do. So when you think about Paid right now, it seems to be so Ignition focused, but I think Kyle's talked about in previous AMAs is we're moving over to our own parachain. Paid Chain will be built on Polkadot, and then to kind of dive in a little more into what Mark's working on is how many people can we get working on Paid Chain when it is a layer 1 protocol, right? Because then the name of the game is transactions to some degree, like not the name of the game, part of the game is transactions. So we want adoption. And we have really unique opportunities with, Ignition coming in and introducing projects to the ecosystem. We're catching them at the very early stages of their roadmap architecture, right? So we can start to plant seeds and guide these entrepreneurs in the direction that we want them to go. And you better believe we're going to be finding the best of the best and saying, as a part of your roadmap, for sure, your Polkadot interoperability should be facilitated through Paid, right? Like we're the team coaching you from day one. We're going to take you through success. Let's align our interests, not just today. Let's align our interests tomorrow and through the end of your project. And how do we do that? How do we truly partner in the paid chain ecosystem? And that the answer to that question, well, we want projects to build on paid, because then every single transaction that they bring to the network creates utility for the paid token. And that's why you see these layer one protocols. Just look at where they are on CoinMarketCap. They're up there. Those are when you get into the single digit rankings, most of those are layer one protocols or stable coins, things, whatever. That's what we're thinking. That's what we're planning. So as you guys are all sitting here, and I know there's a lot of spotlights on how is the IDO market and where is paid's price and things like this, for us big picture people, we approach the market of Bitcoin like dollar cost averaging. And I think if you guys really understand the things that Mark's working on, what we're going with paid chain and how this ties to the Polkadot ecosystem, you'll understand why dollar cost averaging at times like this is critical, because this is where the money's made. When there's blood in the streets, this is where the money's made. When there's fear, this is where the money's made. Paid's price is low. And this is where the true believers that understand this big picture and all the things Mark's working on buy paid tokens.
So
yeah, I mean, if you think about go ahead, Kyle, please. I was going to say, if you think back to the IDO, right? I mean, I think we did a 10X or something. It was at 40 something cents. So many people are like, oh man, I wish I bought it back then. I went to $6 and everything like that. I mean, here's your chance again. So, it's just the market.
I don't think we're supposed to give financial advice, guys.
Well, there's no financial advice.
Disclaimer, that is not financial advice. That is just what Mark is planning on doing. There's some good questions in here. I just want to make sure that we do address some of these. So many people say that 99% of the projects won't survive in a bear market. How do you try to prevent this from the projects you invested in? That's a great question. It's a great question, and it is quite true. I don't know if it's it probably is something close to the high 90s, and that's simply a matter. It's simply a matter of doing your due diligence. If you guys. If you haven't seen, if you haven't seen my video on how I do due diligence, go ahead and check that out. It's on my YouTube channel. But there's a question I like to ask projects whenever I speak to them. Right, I speak to the founders of the projects, when doing diligence on them before vetting them and presenting them to the paid community. And one of them that I ask them is why are you doing this? And that question, you can tend to, if you kind of have good intuition, if you've been doing this for a while, you can pretty much feel out if their goal is to make money or if they really believe they're building something that will be very useful and needed, and I'm quite happy to say that every project, sorry, not every project, but I think out of from the 2017 bull run and the projects I started advising in 2018, collectively between the investments and the advisory, there was probably about 25 projects that I invested in and or advised, and I think 2 or 3 of those ended up not pulling through the bear market. So that's quite good odds, and so I look for dedication. I look for teams that are quality, and that they have a good plan how to survive, even in the worst of conditions. There's a lot more to it, but that is quite high level. Guys, and then for a question like this, Kyle, do you think Thailand will follow El Salvador and make crypto BTC a legal tender? So this is something that definitely not anytime soon. Thailand is working on their own central bank digital currency, and the Thai baht has been increasing in strength, ever since I first started coming here 17 years ago. It used to be when I was here before, the first time, I think it was around 20 baht. It was about 45 Thai baht to the dollar, and now it's about 30. So the Thai baht is getting stronger. That's significantly stronger, and things aren't as cheap as they used to be here. So with that being said, the Thailand is not necessarily a country where they're going to have a massive inflationary problem like the very small countries that didn't have a strong currency. But this is why, South America, basically their option is adopt a deflationary currency like Bitcoin, or turn into a Venezuela or an Argentina where they're basically, wiping their ass with handfuls of cash. So Thailand was the first country in the world to create a legal sandbox environment for ICOs and STOs. That's worth something. It's just they're not moving very quickly, and I do think with the more and more involved that we get here, I do believe that we will be instrumental in helping with adoption of crypto and blockchain friendly rules and regulations here, and hopefully tax incentives as well. Kyle, is Cayman Islands not better than Thailand? Well, it depends what you're. If you're looking for a tax shelter, it's definitely better. But I've never been to Cayman, but I've been to plenty of places in the Bahamas and the Caribbean, and it's beautiful over there. And remember that House of DAO location number 1 is in Phuket, but we have plans to expand to 20 plus locations, over the next 10 years or so, or next 15 years, or however long it takes. But we want to, put House of DAO locations strategically across the world in different types of climates and different types of cultures. So like, for example, Cayman or Turks and Caicos or Bahamas, makes a lot of sense as a location, especially something like Bahamas, who we already know has they have the Bahamian sand dollar. So they've already adopted a digital currency. And I used to be working, I saw some people in the comments earlier talk about my old business, Reverse Aging Institute. Before I did that, I used to work with this billionaire who basically was able to aid in rewriting the laws for stem cells and anti-aging when we were there. So I know that you can get quite easy access to the political figures that are easy to change law. And so, it would make a lot of sense for something like House of DAO to exist in the Bahamas because it's so close to the United States. And the United States is so restrictive when it comes down to development. It would be great to have a nice thing that's 30-minute flight away from Florida or whatever, where you can go and be in another tropical paradise and have a much more friendly, environment with that House of DAO kind of vibe. So, as Cayman not better than Thailand, I'm sure they've got the pros and cons. I've traveled to over 70 countries, countless cities, and I fell in love with Thailand when I came here the first time, and it's always been something that drew me back to it, and that's why I wanted House of DAO location number 1 to be here, but it is just one of many to come. And to touch on this a little bit more about the China ban. It is interesting. It is an interesting dynamic. I think the way that we're positioning the China Launchpad is really is we're using the marketing agencies within China to market this Launchpad that will probably be hosted on somewhere like Singapore or Hong Kong, something like that. And so we've consulted with a bunch of different attorneys and things like that, and we're going to go for it. I don't know, Mark, do you have anything else to add on this as far as what is your opinion about this?
Yeah, thanks. So my opinion about this is, with the China ban, I mean, we understand like China is an autocratic government, and so they want to exert control over things. That's why we've seen the Bitcoin mining exit China under the guise of power use. At the same time, I think, Chinese people have like a really strong spirit in the sense that like they want to innovate, they want different technology. Like I spent many years in China, and I know that like Chinese people really want to be on the cutting edge of technology. I mean, when you walk the streets of Shanghai, for example, it feels like it's Blade Runner or something like that. It's all futuristic, and everybody's working from their phone. Nobody has wallets, nobody has cash. Everything's done from the phone. So, I mean, I think that even though there's some hurdles we have to overcome with regulations and things like this, I think that overall, like the market fit is perfect. I mean, Chinese people are looking for quality. They're looking for quality from abroad. And, paid is a name they can trust. And so I think that all these factors put into place, I think everything else, all the little hiccups and obstacles we may encounter with the China ban and the things surrounding it, I think those can be surmounted. And I think the market fit will become strong enough to be able to help us overcome any other difficulties we might have in getting this thing rolling. And I'm pretty excited for the Chinese people to be able to have more access earlier to things that are really worthwhile and really valuable. And I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I think it's exciting for them as well as the projects that come to paid in ignition. It sets us apart to say, okay, we have these different markets that you can access. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that'll be kind of a unique selling proposition, whatever you want to call it, USP, for paid is, how much can we serve you? We want the all-you-can-eat buffet that, like, okay, we have the Western world, we have the China market, we have this market, we have this market, and the more we can get market share, dominate market share, be the first to market in new markets like China. Like a lot of our research showed us that there wasn't much of a launchpad space in China, so there was kind of a lack of supply available, and it was ripe. This market was ripe for ignition.
Sorry, someone asked. Okay, this is a great question. I'm glad that you asked because we did postpone. The AMA from yesterday to today. I wanted to be able to confirm this before bringing it up here. But most of you guys have been following us for a long time. You've seen Ivan ask for us. You've seen me post it on my Twitter for a long time. And I've told you guys too, like, if you want to get a really, really, really high paying job, learn Rust, learn Rust because it is so difficult to find Rust developers. So I can say that, we have been on fire when it comes down to hiring like the best dev team. We already had a good dev team and now we're bringing on the best of the best. And yesterday we managed to lock in, I can't say where he's from, but I could just say it's the source. And so like, it's incredibly exciting. It's exactly what we needed for our substrate. And this saves us probably about, 4 months of development time, having this kind of talent come into paid. We couldn't be more excited about this. And this makes paid chain, much more of a reality much sooner. And this is, so we have so much good things coming, guys, that soon. We have Apollo X, love the branding and marketing and everything they're doing there. And I wanted to bring Willie on, but the lottery model or the model, we're really trying hard. We were going to do guaranteed allocations for everybody. And then, Trust Swap was doing that and everyone loved it. But as it became more and more demand, unless they were raising a massive amount of money, there wasn't enough to go around for that to work. So they switched the model out. So even though that's not what we originally wanted to do, upon doing more research, we figured out that wouldn't work. So that we're still working on that. But one thing that's really cool that I can tell you that we're going to do is we're going to do like a traditional style lottery, like one that happens in every nation, every country, and in the States, in every state. So it's probably going to work something like this. We will have quite large allocation chunks. Like I think for Omni, it's $30,000. And what's going to happen is you will be able to buy a lottery ticket for one paid token. And you can buy as many as you want. And then you can pick your lucky numbers. Or if you're too lazy to do it, you can have the automated thing do it for you. But basically, you get your lottery numbers. And you can buy as many lottery tickets as you want, the same way that some offices pool together and buy lottery tickets, and if someone wins, they split the profits, whatever. And these are being burnt. And if nobody wins the jackpot on the first one, it rolls over into the next one. And there will be winners too for people that get like 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, but it's small compared to the jackpot. So I would expect, that people from all over the world are willing to just try their luck and throwing in 1 pay token, 2 pay tokens, 20 pay tokens, and these are all going to be burnt. So imagine if after, in 5 or 6 weeks from now, we're getting hundreds of thousands of lottery ticket entrances into each of these lotteries. That's hundreds of thousands of pay tokens every single time an IDO happens that are getting burnt. And so this is really, really exciting, and that's a lot. It's a lot of fun. We do have to start wrapping up. I do have. So tomorrow is our webinar. So tomorrow is a webinar. So if any of you guys are interested in Paid will participate in. We will have a Kusama version. We're still looking for the name. Like Kala had Karua. We're still thinking about Paid. Like I don't know. Like I was thinking about calling it something like I forget what are the gang. What does Pablo Escobar call his money? It's like plata or something. Like I don't know. Something crazy for Paid Kusama version. But yeah, we will have a Kusama version of Paid and the Polkadot version. But yeah, tomorrow we will be doing the webinar. The link to that is on my Twitter. Please do tell people, check it out. It's the first time ever. If you go to Master Ventures portfolio, it's extremely impressive. We're very proud of it. And this is the first time ever that people are allowed to participate with us and becoming, an LP in the Master Ventures Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem fund. There was one more question. Yes. We're still. If you guys tune into the show, I don't know if it's gonna be Monday or Tuesday now, but the Crypto Connoisseur show with our bags right now, our crypto cases are now up to a value of like $160,000 or something like that too, as a giveaway. And that's we're working to get that number. I think we'll easily get it over 1 million in the next couple of months. And if the market turns around very, very bullish, that could easily go up to $5-10 million. And so make sure that you guys, because all you have to do to win is subscribe, like, comment, and you have a chance of getting your share of this massive jackpot that we're creating. Jed, Mark, anything else to say before we shut it down?
Just thank you to the community for believing in us, and we continue to work hard really every day. Excuse me, I'm tripping over my words. We continue to work hard every single day. That's why I'm tripping over my words. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Like really.
Yeah, so just to dovetail on that, piggyback, Mark, you guys are amazing. It's all community. Everything that we do and the ethos of Master Ventures and Paid and everything that Kyle works for is community. There is power in numbers, and we have big vision, change the world type goals, and we can't do it without all of you. So we very much appreciate it. One of the things that I think is important for everybody to understand is, Apollo X coming into the space, Chinese Launchpad coming into the space. This is essentially just more markets that Paid's going to capitalize on. So Ignition has had kind of its funnel, and that what I was talking about earlier of all this opportunity that we just can't even catch. What Apollo X and the China Launchpad or the Asia Launchpad are is just little buckets that we can go and start catching more of this opportunity with. And so it's big news, and I hope everybody that's watching and listening understands what this means for the Paid ecosystem is. Everything up to this point has been what can Ignition catch. Now, instead of one entity, person, whatever, catching, we have like 3 catching. We're going to have Asia, we're going to have Ignition. And that gets really exciting for just the sheer quantity of opportunities that'll be introduced to the ecosystem perspective. So that's what I'd like to leave you guys with. Thank you so much. That's all. Love you.
I just want to add to this question because I've seen it asked like 5 times, 10 times, and I know you really want me to answer this, and it's probably relevant for big picture. Like, so where do we see paid in 4 to 5 years? Well, obviously we see paid as being the de facto standard for business agreements for any 2 parties in the world. Everybody that I talked to about it thinks it's a brilliant idea and it's so necessary. And so the paid DApp, for smart agreements, that will absolutely be implemented, probably within the next, 6 to 12 months. And I think it'll give us some time for worldwide adoption, but it will happen. Lowest hanging fruit is first the crypto market and then spreading out to other industries. We will have several House of DAO locations, and that's relevant for paid because of our incubation system, right? And so our incubator will be focused on supporting projects that want to build on paid chain. So where a lot of people are building layer 1 protocols, and a lot of people believe that if you build it, they will come. Well, that's not true. If you build it, they will not come. You have to have ecosystem influence and value to add to projects to convince them that they should be building on your layer 1 infrastructure. So I expect in 4 or 5 years, we've been scaling up our incubation department for the past year. I imagine that with multiple House of DAO locations and the way that our team is scaling, we could probably accommodate 100 projects a year that we're incubating. So I would say that within 4 or 5 years, we've got at least several hundred projects building on top of paid chain, not to mention the ones that we're building in-house. And so I see that we will have a tremendous amount of economic demand for the paid token, as those who want to build on paid chain will need to either lock up a significant amount of paid themselves in order to use our resources from paid chain, or their customers using their app will have to use paid as gas. So every single dApp that's being developed on top of paid will significantly increase the amount of paid that need to be that are in demand. I see paid being a top 10 cryptocurrency. We're all quite adamant about what we're doing. We're really serious. I've been in this for 10 years. This is my life, and there's no reason that we shouldn't. There's no reason that we can't be one of the most serious and important projects in the space. That's exactly the direction that we're heading in. And I expect to see all of you living at House of DAO, celebrating with us, all the early supporters, because if you're holding paid right now, you are an early supporter. Even if you buy it today, you're early, and we thank you all for being here. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We have got to go. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Thank you.